In this video I'm going to show you how to plan your backpacking trip or your travelling itinerary from start to finish. I hope you enjoy this video. If you've got any feedback, please leave it in the comment section below, and if you have any questions, just feel free to message us. Okay, so the first place to start is creating a Google spreadsheet on Google Drive. So Google Drive is a really great tool that I use all the time because anything that you create, you can access your documents from anywhere. So if you're traveling with another person, it's really good because you're both going to have access to the same sheet. But also it means that you can both update the sheet without overriding each other's edits. So when you've created your Google Doc, the next thing is to basically start off by thinking of all of the places that you really want to go. So this could be anywhere from your bucket list, or it could be recommendations that you've had from other people. It could be things that you've seen on Pinterest. It can be anything. Basically any place that you want to travel, put it all in one sheet. It doesn't have to be organised, just stick it in the sheet and then you can start to organise the places later. So this is our top destinations sheet. So in here we basically put all of the places that we wanted to go. So if you have a look at Southeast Asia, for example, we've got a bit of Thailand, we've got Bali, and we've got some Vietnam in there. But actually planning out that trip and how we're going to get from one place to the other will come a little bit later. So the next part of this is probably the most time consuming but probably the most exciting, because this is where you can really start to see your actual plans of your travels start to take shape. So if you go to Google and you type in Google My Maps, Google have a space where you can create your own travel map. So if you just create a new map, you can start to pin all of the places that you've got in your top destinations sheet into the world map. So it's really easy. All you do is, for example, we'll just do Nashville. So if you type in Nashville, Tennessee, you want to add it to your map. So once you've added as many places as you can to your map, you can start to add lines in between your different destinations. Bear in mind that this is still very much a draft and it might change depending on the cost of flights and the cost of travel between different places. So basically I can show you in order which cities you're going to visit using the lines. So to do the lines, all you have to do is go to draw line, add a line or a shape, and you can just do a free line. So this next part of the video is really showing you how to add other places in that weren't originally part of your top destinations list. So for example, if you have a look on this map, our top destinations go from New York, Philly, Nashville, Memphis. There's a huge gap in between Philly and Nashville, and we might be missing some really cool parts of West Virginia or Kentucky. So really it just depends on your research for this. I think it's just checking things out. So for example, we might look at like this national forest in between, or we might have a look at Charleston if that's worth a visit. You really have to spend a lot of time going on forums and using TripAdvisor and Lonely Planet and working out if you really think that that's going to be worthwhile, a worthwhile destination to go to. That really happened with Boston for us. So for example, our top destination was New York. Boston's only two hours away from New York, and when I researched about Boston, it really was a worthwhile place, and everybody was telling us we should really go if it's only 2 hours away. So it ended up being one of the best places that we've been. So you can add other like features on this map. So we've got like little stars, an optional place that we can go. So it's definitely worth doing some research around the different areas. So now I'm going to show you the easiest way to cost everything up, and we've been using this spreadsheet to try and work out how much everything's going to cost. So this is the finished version of our USA travels. But to get to this, you've got to work out the average cost per night to decide how long you can afford to stay in certain places, and also look at the average cost of flights and stuff like that. So this spreadsheet enables you to put in a random number of nights against the cost per night that you find for your hostels. You can download this spreadsheet in the description below so that you don't have to create it yourself. So the first place on the list was London to Boston, and the average flights for that month that we were travelling were around £200. So that should bring your total to around £200 for your travel. And the average cost per night in Boston is... I don't want to get too in-depth in how to find hostels and stuff. This is just a sort of example of how to get a average cost per night. I can do a different video on what websites I use to find places to stay, because there's not just hostels, there's also Airbnbs, and that's a totally different video. So this is the one we stayed in, so it's £44.92 per night, £44.92 one night. So if you just insert all of your values in the way that I've shown you for Boston. So I'm just going to do some examples here. I'm not even going to research them, but that'll give you a total, and your total's like 800. Obviously I've only done it in Memphis, and we've went all the way up to LA, so that's taken us up to £3,000. But if you just continue this all the way down up until your final destination of that area, then you can hit your budget. But it's really good because you can change the number of nights. So if you do manage to go over your budget, you can maybe change the number of nights that you stay in different areas. So you might want to reduce the number of days that you stay in the most expensive areas. So that's a really good way of working out a ballpoint figure, and then you can work out how many nights you can afford to stay in certain areas. So now that you've got an idea of how many nights you can stay in certain places, we can move on to this spreadsheet, which gives a little bit more detail. So really you want to work out the day of your outward flight. So once you've got that first outward date, you can start planning your whole entire trip around the number of nights that you've planned to stay based on your average cost per night. So your cost of your travel is always relative to your from destination. So for example, the £204 flight is your cost from London to Boston, but your accommodation cost is always relative to the place that you're staying. So for example, it's $194 to stay in Boston for 2 nights. So this sheet is good because you've got the cells that are highlighted in green are the ones that have been paid, and the ones that are highlighted in yellow are the ones that are to be paid when you get to the place. So it's good because you can total up all of your yellow cells and work out how much you still have left to pay from the amount of money that you've saved. Another tool that we've used just before I finish this video is TripIt. So TripIt's an app where when you book up anything, whether it's a hostel, a flight, a train, it can be anything. It can even be a tour, it doesn't really matter. You can forward your confirmation email on to this app. It can store everything, all of your confirmations into one itinerary, and it'll work out the dates in order, and it'll basically put all of your itinerary on your phone. So all of this that you've planned, everything in green, once you get your confirmation, you can forward it on to the TripIt app, which is free, and it'll all basically just be on your phone, so you've got it everywhere that you go. But this is the end of this video. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I'll put a link in the description below of the spreadsheet. So again, if you have any questions or if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And yeah, I hope to do more videos soon. Oh, and a shout out to Tom, my boyfriend, who created the sheet. because he won't stop banging on about it, about how I need to give him a mention on this video. So thanks for the sheet, Tom. Okay, bye everybody. Thanks for watching my video.